There are moments when even the strongest voices are forced into silence. For decades, Pastor John Hagee stood behind the pulpit with unwavering conviction, delivering powerful sermons that reached millions around the world. To those watching from the pews or through television screens, he seemed almost unstoppable. But behind that confident presence was a deeply personal struggle that threatened not only his ministry but also the very ability to do what he believed he had been called to do. It wasn't a crisis of faith. It was a battle with his own health. And for a man whose life revolved around preaching, the stakes could not have been higher. Long before he became one of America's best-known pastors, John Hagee dedicated himself to ministry with extraordinary determination. He founded Cornerstone Church in San Antonio, built John Hagee Ministries into an international outreach, authored best-selling books, and became a prominent voice on biblical prophecy and Christian teaching. Through decades of preaching, he developed a reputation for bold messages and tireless work. Few imagined that the man encouraging others to remain strong would one day face physical challenges that tested his own endurance. The first major turning point came when Hagee underwent open-heart surgery, including a 4-way bypass. For someone whose schedule revolved around constant travel and public speaking, the operation represented far more than a medical procedure. It forced him to slow down and confront his own mortality. Recovery required patience, discipline, and trust. While many wondered how quickly he would return, Hagee later described the experience as a reminder that even life's greatest setbacks can become testimonies of perseverance. But here's what many people never realized. Another challenge soon emerged that struck at the heart of his ministry. Hagee publicly shared that he had been diagnosed with myasthenia gravis, a rare autoimmune disorder that disrupts communication between nerves and muscles, often causing weakness that can affect speaking, swallowing, and other everyday functions. For a preacher whose calling depended on his voice, the diagnosis was especially frightening. There is currently no cure, although modern treatments can help manage symptoms and allow many people to continue leading active lives. There were moments when uncertainty seemed overwhelming. Hagee has spoken about periods when he questioned whether he would ever preach with the same strength again. Yet instead of retreating permanently, he focused on treatment, rehabilitation, and adapting to his condition. His recovery became less about returning to perfection and more about continuing his mission despite physical limitations. In many ways, his health journey reflected the very message he had preached for decades: perseverance through adversity. Then another unexpected trial arrived during the COVID-19 pandemic. Hagee contracted the virus and developed double pneumonia, requiring hospitalization at a time when many feared the worst. News of his illness prompted an outpouring of prayers from supporters around the world. Against significant odds, he recovered and eventually returned to ministry, expressing gratitude for both medical care and the support he received from his congregation and family. As the years passed, the rhythm of his ministry naturally evolved. Much of the day-to-day leadership at Cornerstone Church transitioned to his son, Pastor Matt Hagee, while John Hagee continued serving as founder and senior pastor. Rather than signaling defeat, the transition reflected thoughtful planning and a desire to ensure the ministry would continue serving future generations. He remains active in teaching and ministry, even as age and health have changed the pace of his public life. Perhaps that is the deepest truth behind Pastor John Hagee's health battles. They were never simply stories of illness, surgery, or recovery. They became lessons in resilience, humility, and faith under pressure. Whether one agrees with his theology or not, his willingness to speak openly about weakness has encouraged many facing their own difficult seasons. His legacy is no longer measured only by the sermons he preached, but by the perseverance he demonstrated when life tested everything he had spent decades proclaiming. And perhaps the strongest testimony is not found in the moments when he stood confidently behind the pulpit, but in the quiet determination that carried him back there. If this story inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more untold stories about remarkable lives, extraordinary resilience, and the journeys that continue to inspire millions.